is about love. We are change is about knowledge. And together, we can make a change.
About 2 hours before all of the ships had gotten to the gathering point, the point we were taking off to go to Gaza, the last ship to finally come into the flotilla was the Challenger 1. It had come back from Cyprus with its steering mechanism fixed and bringing on board some European parliamentarians from Germany and from Scotland. And they wanted to go on board the big Marmara ship because there were other parliamentarians that were on board, including a member of the Knesset, a Palestinian Israeli member of the Knesset that was on board that ship. And you may have seen her picture on TV, because when she came back to Israel and went to the Knesset, there was quite a scene in the Knesset where quite a few Knesset members were not pleased at all that she'd been on that ship. So there was kind of a melee that took place in the Knesset. I was on board for 48 hours and then went on to the Challenger about 4 o'clock in the afternoon on May 30th. As that transfer of people took place, then all of the ships that were going to be a part of the flotilla were there. And the signal was given, and all of a sudden, all of these 6 ships then turned and then started heading toward Gaza. And it was quite a remarkable scene. It was, the ships had been spread out for about 3 or 4 miles as they were going in circles and things like that, waiting actually for days for all the ships to finally arrive. And then when finally the signal was given, and then off we went. We weren't speeding across the Mediterranean because we were going at the speed of the slowest ship, which was 8 knots. The old Greek freighter was going 8 knots, so we all were just in a line going 8 knots. At midnight that night, we started getting radio calls from the Israeli military saying, "You are approaching a security zone. You must turn back, you must turn back." And they were identifying by name the captains of each one of the ships. And it wasn't like it was a secret or anything like that. These were well publicized beforehand. Most people that were on board the ships had been writing blogs about their going on these things, so it wasn't like anybody was hiding who they were. It was very interesting, though, as each of the captains would reply back to the radio operator saying, "I am Captain so-and-so of the Challenger 1. We are a civilian ship. We are carrying unarmed passengers. We have no weapons on board. We are taking materials, construction materials, to Gaza. We believe that this blockade is an illegal blockade, and we intend to continue on." One of the people that actually answered from one of the ships was a young woman named Hawida Arif. She is one of the co-founders of the Free Gaza movement, and also one of the co-founders of the International Solidarity movement, a movement that brings international people into the West Bank and into Gaza to stand with Palestinian farmers, with shepherds, with school people, to be an international presence, to help Palestinians continue daily lives when there is the possibility that Israeli soldiers might be shooting at them. And that's one. Rachel Corrie was one of the people with International Solidarity Movement. There's a whole stream of people from all over the world who have gone to do this sort of work. Hawida Arif has been on each one of that would make the 9 sets of ships that had tried to go into Israel. And she got on the radio to reply back to the radio operator to give the long history of how long this attempt to break the blockade had been going on. And it was quite a powerful speech that she gave, or a powerful rendition of what the coming over the Marmara, and at that point, then we took off and further ahead, going toward Gaza. As I mentioned, for us, we were boarded about 15 minutes later. Our ship stopped, actually. We saw a large light coming from the port bow, coming across our bow, and all of a sudden the captain of our ship just pulled off all the power, and we were just dead in the water. And the captain later said, well, we didn't come here to ram an Israeli Navy ship, and that's what the choices were. So there were choices there, that there are ways to stop these ships without actually forcefully boarding them. I mean, you can stop their forward movement by putting other ships in front of them. We were immediately boarded. Our little line of resistance was quickly overrun by the 18, 19, 20-year-old commandos who have their orders, just like our U.S. military have their orders. Take that house, take that boat, whatever it is. They just do what they're told. And they use whatever force they need to. And the women that were on the stern of the ship were thrown down into the broken glass that had come out of the windows as the percussion grenades had gone into them. As I mentioned, one woman was shot in the face with a paint bullet. An Australian journalist that was up on the top of our ship, a woman photojournalist, was tasered. She was knocked across the top of the ship. The women on the stern of the ship were hoods put over them. They were handcuffed and taken to the bow of the ship. The rest of us were rounded up and put into the lobby area of our ship. We then were, the very first things that the commando said were, we want your cameras, we want your cell phones, we want your computers. And those were the first things that one by one we were taken down to the, down below where all the luggage was, to bring out all of that stuff. We were then headed toward Ashdod, the Israeli port. We were the first ship to get in there. But that took 8 hours for us to get on in. We got in at about noon on May 31st. However, while we were heading in, other things were going on the other 5 ships. All 5 ships were boarded forcefully. The same type of thing happened on each one of them. Percussion grenades, paintballs, stun guns. On board the Marmara, though, as you all know, there were a lot of other things that were happening. As the Zodiac boats came up to the stern of the Marmara, you probably saw some of the pictures that some of the passengers on board were pouring water down on the pouring water down from the decks of the ship down onto the boats. That was one of the types of resistance that they had decided on that boat, pour water down there, which is the same mechanism that the Israeli military uses on fishermen in Gaza. They use water hoses on the fishermen, blowing some of the fishermen off the boats. The other part, as the helicopters started coming across the top of the ship, you all have seen the Israeli military video that was taken from another helicopter that was standing off the Marmara that showed as the